Chatbox, a conversation with the guys.
Shosho wafethu, welcome to Chatbox Live, a conversation with the guys. Mina igama lami Floyd wakangwenya, postman wamaqiniso, and njengenjwayelo ke angihambi ngedwa, ngihamba nabobani.
Baphethu uhamba nosabelo kwaMaths, badengangiyathanda futhi ngikhathalela kutheni.
Kaningana na baphethu baphethu lo deliver ke is easy always remember to say please. Gambo.
So guys, as promised, sithekile so besikhuluma nge-gender based violence and we are here today so khuluma ngayo ke le gender based violence. Ukuthi kahle kahle yini le that has been on our minds and we've been talking about it in social media and everything. But today we'll get to explain it, talk about it, and also get an opportunity to interact with you guys within Ankabangan. But I think the first departure now should be ukuthi kahle kahle yini gender based violence. Yeah. So I think the best definition for me would be gender-based violence is violence directed at someone based on their gender. So which we umuntu wesifazane directed at them. So I think one thing that we also need to clarify is that gender-based violence is not only violence to women, it can also be to men. So because gender-based violence, it's only when it's to women.
And
It's
kids
understandable
also,
because
even kids.
the states do say what the more women are being killed, more women are being abused. It makes sense with why we think it's only about women.
And exactly, which is going to directly show you here today. We are going to focus mainly on women because it's one issue that has been happening. As much as we're going to touch emadoda kancane, but lebasifazane, I think it's very critical because and there are no solutions and there is nothing. So madoda, I want to know, and I think this is right as the first question. What are the causes of abuse or violence in a relationship?
Mina baphethu ngicabanga ikhona view yami yazi makunomthetho ekhaya baphethu ukwabona umama makathi ready khona view yakhe ubona ngathi ngiyadelela asiyaqala ke sebenza lo ushaya umfazi and umfazi uqala umshaya obviously now ukuthi kuma frustrations wakho ukuthi umntwana so lento lesi irhova ukuthi uye family so this guy nje is impacting me.
Yeah, bafethu, more on that is actually a cultural belief ukuthi manje indoda enhloko yekhaya. So he believes ukuthi kumele nje yena ayenze by all means ukuthi aqondise igwegwe lapha endlini and so on. So and I also think ukuthi bafethu we are being controlled by alcohol. This is not an excuse, but I think alcohol is also one of the main reasons of such things. And that the alcohol gives men that emotional side, I think. They bring all that negativity, that bad energy. Those things have been bottling up before. And by that time, the only thing I'm being on is to just lay a hand at the woman. And I think not just the system is failing us. I think the states do say maybe out of 10 people who are reported for abuse, GBV, maybe one of them gets convicted and get to actually save time. So I think men also know always I would also go to trial, and I would be back with my wife. So I think that's one of the reasons why men are constantly doing this more and more and more.
Thank you. I think just to vumelana nani madoda, I think it's because also we live in a patriarchal society, a society that has made us believe as men that we are superior than women. So in everything that we do, we expect women to succumb to us. But so to a point that umfazi makaphendula endlini, you think, lo yamdelela ke mele ngumfake endleleni, then you end up doing wrong things. But madoda, I think one of the other things the men focus on, especially here in South Africa, I'm a stats because I was looking at these stats and it's very bad. Apparently, 1 in 3 in every 3 women in South Africa has been abused in any way. Because the most important thing also is that we highlight that the abuse is not only physical.
Yeah, it's not
only physically. So we can also have verbal abuse,
abuse.
we have emotional abuse, and surprisingly, we also have financial abuse.
yeah, bafethu. Financial abuse. Ngiyaqala ukuyizwa le.
It happens.
Ile uyokustinge.
It happens in a relationship that, okay, omunye unemali, omunye akanamali, so lo nemali feels that they are superior.
Yeah, I think that's where men are mostly involved. Yeah, it's like being on the victim side. Because men, the only time they feel belittled is when a woman has more money than them. That's when they feel like, you know. But I think the sexual abuse also is there, eh?
Most critical, especially in South Africa.
Yeah,
we face that a lot. And another stat that's interesting, gents, is that each and every 8 hours here in South Africa, a woman is
8
killed.
hours.
8 hours.
That's like twice a day.
That's like 3 times probably.
Almost 3
3 times. So
Shucks.
it's very stressful
Yo,
and
guys,
you need
that's
to
sick.
deal with it.
That's sick, yo.
As the topic
Very nice.
Cool. But the most important thing is that we need to talk about them so that
That's
we
the
find a
choice.
solution.
Let's
So
go.
guys, as isibathembisile ababukeli bethu, uzangithi ababukeli on TV.
Yeah, well, on TV, okay, too. If you're playing this from TV,
Yeah.
Thank
you. So as we promised you, Guti, we'd like to interact with you through social media pages, on Twitter, on Instagram, and even on Facebook. So we have Yama questions, we have Ama comments that we're going to play. Wabantu abafuna ukukhuluma nathi, ne?
Yeah.
So let's just go straight to it. Asiye kuma yenziwe nquma lo osendele i-video and simuze ukuthi yena uthini.
Hi guys, I just wanted to find out, what are you doing as individuals to take a stand against gender-based violence? As it is, our communities are moaning because they are losing female kids all around South Africa. So I just wanted to know, what are you guys doing to prevent, or what stand are you taking against this gender-based violence issue that we are facing as a country?
That was a question from Umayenziwe. She's asking us, Uguti, what was that? She's asking us, Uguti, kahle Tina, as individuals, what are we doing to fight or to stand against the GBV? Reza, when's that?
Hey, I saw Reza Fed, Steez. I feel like, there's only so much you can actually do, Bafet. As I said in my first comment, which is the justice system is failing us. So I think what we have the power for is a communication, Bafet, to take the word out there and to educate Amachi, Tana, Woma, Bafet. Communication is key. Everywhere, not just in your relationship. Speak to us. That does not mean who to weak. So just talk about it, let's talk about it. All I'm doing is just making sure that I raise the awareness so how you can get the help when you are being abused, how you can talk about it, and how you can go about reporting your partner in danger. I say that's the only thing I have the power to do. Sub-Zero.
Afethu ngicabanga ukuthi isizwe sineme zonke lezo zinto.
Yeah.
Injalo wena afethu ejiki kumele siqinise nje kanjalo.
Ayi nami ngiyavuma madoda. Communication is key everywhere you go. So njengoba sizwile i-question yakaMayenziwe, and also Mayenziwe, I think if you wanna know her, you can just go on Facebook, Mayenziwe Nxumalo, then you'll see everything about her. Thank you very much for your question. Continue watching
Checkbox Live, yeah. New question we are Andile bafethu ngicela silaleleni.
Hello everyone, this is Andy Makoba, and regarding this topic, I only have one question, and my question is, why do you guys feel fulfilled after doing that? Does it satisfy you seeing someone else hurt because of you? I don't know, because if it does, then you're clearly a monster, and mothers don't birth monsters, you know? So I'd have to know why. I don't think anyone has the answer to this question, but I would honestly love to know why, because the minute we know the cause, then we'll be able to solve, and we'll be able to prevent it going forth. For now, we don't know why people are doing what they're doing. It's just really hectic, and please just fix yourself. To everyone who has ever thought of doing it, or loves doing it, or I don't know, please just fix yourself, because the problem is not the other person, the problem is in you. Yeah.
Bafethu, that was Andile. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, siyamuzwa bafethu wandile bafethu uyasibosa hey usibuza question ethi yasihlaba uyasihlaba. So Andile, I will start by saying we cannot really say how does one feel after doing that, because I think none of us have done that before. Unless if none khuluma nje, that's the most common communication. Maybe none ngitshela ukuthi nishaba fast.
You'll never know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Anila, we really don't have a question and answer for your question. I mean, but I think like you said, our parents never like gave birth to monsters. How do you end up doing such a cruel thing to the one being? Some of you end up taking their lives. I'm sorry. So I don't really know who can answer that question perfectly. But I personally think for that specific moment. I think after that they do come back and realize that they fucked up. But I think after all, some of them do serve time, some don't. I think they actually get time to rehabilitate and come back to life. I don't know much if that's something.
Because maybe just
Most definitely. And I think in attempting to answer the question, I think you talked about an important issue, alcohol abuse. To say abantu they bottle stuff a lot, then when they come back, that's when they feel they keep. So I'm thinking keep into phakathi kwakhe isikhathi eside maqeda ayuphuza, then when they come back bashaya umfazi or babulala umfazi, then probably for that few minutes while this alcohol is still within their system, they get that satisfaction. No, inkinga yami sengiyisusile endleleni, because you remember they couldn't deal with it. So my answer would be there to say, at that moment while they are still a demon, they feel no, inkinga yami ngiyisusile endleleni, kanti abazi ukuthi basifake inkingeni enkulu kakhulu. So I think that would be my answer to the question, that good question Andy.
Okay, Floyd. Mina bese ngithukile bafethi ngitshela ukuthi abafethi basekwenzakala. So Floyd, next one boy.
Iphethe hayi siyabonga abafethu. Before siya kulo muntu olandela abafethi, singathanda ukusho ukuthi bafethi you can also just want to emphasize with my social media way to just go there and comment on this issue. If you have experienced it, share your experiences and how you dealt with that specific thing. If you've been a perpetrator and you've now repented, you are a better person now. Do comment with you are such a person and this is what you did to help yourself, so that people who are bothered by the same thing, they can also know how to deal with the situation. Now, going to our third and last question, Buffet 2, we're going to have a question for you.
Konakele, and it's not even funny. My question is, when is the right time to leave when there's third parties involved? You've talked about it. I mean, abantu abadala, abo mamazala, and also your parents, but they tell you when is the right time to stop and set your foot down and decide what you're gonna leave, regardless of their opinions? Because why were they still under the intent, right? But when is the right time to leave when you see that you are dying, and also stop considering the fact that there's kids?
Okay, bafethu senemzwile ovuyisa ayi iyakhala intokazi.
Ayi uthi
iyakhala intokazi. Intokazi iyabuza bafethu ithi a relationship is always about two people. But there's always that third party. The third party can be your parents or gabo mamazala or your kids. They also play a huge role in such a thing. So question number is, when is it the right time to leave such an abusive relationship without considering feelings of abazali who are busy sending you back or a relationship? When is it the right time to leave without considering abantwana and putting yourself first, instead of saying I can't leave relationship 20 years and so on? So when is it the right time?
The first day simple. If I'm tired, let's go for counseling. Let's go for counseling. And if counseling is suka lapho sikhathele ukungcoba abantwana basekhaya. Yeke asikelene ivele iphele le mbali.
Yeah. I think, in fact, firstly, let me highlight that was a good question. We have a lot of situations where umfazi uyashawa we are endlini, but we are umendo uyasetshenzela yazazi leso zisho musiyabo, and that gets umfazi uthola ukuthi sekabulewe at the end because endlini abamvumelanga ukuthi abuye izinto ezinjalo. I think one of the things that I could say is that in a relationship, it's all about happiness. Like, mau jabulile in a relationship, that's a good thing. Mau jabulanga in a relationship, and when you try talking about it until it's solution, that's the time to leave. Because I think at the end of the day, we all deserve ukuba happy. So what's the point of being in a relationship that you're not happy about? But the problem also is that you get people that say, mina ngikho happy in my relationship, but indoda yami inemali. So
I think like this goes to people who get into relationships for wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as the flow is saying, and Usama is saying, my friend, once I one, is it a clap or is it a bandy or kicks you by mistake, then claims it's a mistake. I don't even understand how can you clap someone by mistake.
By mistake.
Sense. Yeah. So that one time, my friend, you can go seek help with the person. But I think the first thing you have to do is give that person the space. And so, space, deal with that issue separately. Because if we find us also say counseling, say we sit on the same table, sleep in the same bed. I mean, and tomorrow might be too late.
I think very in the issue is that once you allow it to happen, and maybe let's say as a woman, let's make an example as a woman, that indoda iyakshaya niyalala tomorrow uvuka uright yonke into iphelile, then that indoda leyo would be like, okay, shoot lo muntu lo akana problem then it's easy for ukuthi uyenze next time. But as a woman, if you are going to say, okay, I love the person, but I need to make sure that I punish him to make sure ukuthi ufunda a lesson from what he did that it's wrong. Then maybe we are told to again 2 months and umbonise ukuthi no. Lento yenzile is very wrong, and if you don't find a solution when personally ngokwakho, then I'm not gonna come back. Rather than ukuvuka and say no, love asiqhubeke asiqinise ini thola ukuthi umuntu wakhona akachange nokuchange. Iyasibulala lento le.
So Bafethu, we are going to just play you a small audio or a video of someone just stating a few pointers of this behavior. Then we are going to continue after that and just close it off. So let's go to the recording or the video.
Okay.
Violence and a solution. There isn't a solution for gender-based violence. I believe there's multiple solutions because of the multiple reasons that causes gender-based violence. For example, multiple examples, a man would hit his woman because he's drunk, a man would hit his woman because she's cheating or lacking something. So it's each situation that we must consider of how do we solve that situation. For a man that is drunk, he has to stop drinking, obviously, and admit that they have a drinking problem and start from there. And a man that is very abusive should stop and admit that they're abusive and do the certain measures to change and to grow with themselves. And certain men need to talk in general, so men should be able to have a man-to-man talk, that conversation, because I believe that men don't talk, men judge each other way too much, and that it causes no guidance, that there's no brotherhood the way that women sometimes do have that, or women just open up and say 1, 2, 3 bothers me. And men are supposed to be so strong, of which it's not the case. I mean, if something bothers them, they should be clearing out. And if a woman is cheating on you, leave instead of hating them. It doesn't solve much. So I believe that there isn't one solution, there's multiple solutions, looking at the reasons that are currently happening with gender-based violence.
Okay, welcome back, guys. That was Ubanele asinika iperspective yakhe nama views akhe ukuthi yena ucabanga ngale ndaba besikhuluma ngayo la. We thank you very much, Banele, for always watching our videos and interacting with us. Ngicela encourage laba abanye abantu ukuthi bayenze kanjalo na. So guys, I always hear people we coming to solutions, but I just want to I always hear people, but the ultimate solution to this is a death penalty. So guys, ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi nina nicabangani nge-death penalty, ukuthi do you think is the ultimate solution to this?
Mina, a point of view, I mean, death penalty will be a good thing to do. Until if the government will implement that, it's going to be great. Ngiyakutshela manje damani ngazosaba ukwenza izinto ey'bhedayo nabafazi abahlukumezayo ngiyakutshela kuzophela lokho, because yazi i-death penalty iyathusa le nto bafethu. So this is serious, and ngicabanga ukuthi kwamele ibe khona, it must be involved.
I stand to differ with it. I don't think, unless if it's gonna come in as a threat but not get executed and done, which will make sense to do something not do it. But I mean, part of the abuse is people getting killed, and So how do you punish a killer by becoming a killer yourself? You get. So now you just did what you were punishing the other person of doing. It doesn't make sense. So I feel like Buffett, as Rubanel is saying, there are a lot of situations that lead to such things. Let's go to the roots. Let's cut the roots of them and make sure what for alcoholic reasons.
Yeah,
we do
but
that.
by cutting those roots, ngicabanga ukuthi kumele labo bantu bahambe la because of ngeke uzobona umuntu ohluphile.
Mara-
Cabanga mfethu uzophila.
Okay, amachita. Asinga-argue ngale nto le. Ngiyezwa i-perspective yakho wena you're saying you do not agree nge-death penalty. Usawuza saying uyavumelana nge-death
Ayisebenze le
penalty. So yes, asenzeni,
Yeah.
let's take it to them, yeah. Yibo abazodecide on our comment section or comment box, just comment ukuthi wena ufila kanjani nge-death penalty. But what I can tell you gents right now is that we do not have one solution to this. GBV sinama solution abaya. So ngifuna ukwazi yini manje what are some of the solutions you think might actually eradicate GBV or make sure ukuthi gender-based violence ayisekho uyayela?
Ngicabanga ukuthi mina kumele seducate nabantu sicale ngeingane zethu kuqala. Sicale ngeingane zethu kuqala. Ngiyezwa yeah ukuthi more time ingane yakho yomfana uyamtshela and if unenkinga mntana yami relax asikhulume ngayo le ndaba like asikhulume ngayo yini
Yeah,
yami
sikhulume.
ngitshela sikelele violence ukuthi mntana mungafiki ngaphakathi indoda ayikhali lezo zinto lezo yize zenza ingane zethu kusasa ngitshela ukuthi njengoba usushilo mntana wami nasesiphuze alcohol sesikhipha lesa sibhongo lesiya ingane zethu ngitshela so le nto leyo iyayibandisa.
Yeah, I think true that parents should teach equality. Don't teach a boy child who he's more stronger than the girl child. Stop teaching the girl child to be submissive to the boy child. Doesn't make sense. And another situation, which can come in handy. Our police system, I have known people. I know people who are being abused or beaten at some stage. They will call our police department for help. By the time sometimes we don't even get there. Sometimes how the things go, So our justice system is also failing us because I think 1 of 3 people are getting arrested, if I'm not mistaken, or 1 of 10 are getting arrested and eventually get to serve their time in jail for such offenses as still out there doing the very same thing because they are not being reported and they are not being caught for
Yeah.
So let's fix our justice system. Let's make sure they have the power to say no and they have the power within their hands to stop them doing it.
Thank you. And I think part of any solution is that we must create more organization that create awareness, especially those that go to primary school, that go to high school. Educated abantu labo ukuthi no. The fact that umuntu wesifazane uyaphendula does not mean uyakudelela. Now the fact that ukuthi uphendula nomunye umuntu akusho ukuthi uyakudelela. So that we create that thing ukuthi in a relationship people must talk. And I'm thinking this is broader than a relationship. Everywhere, when we're in a meeting or in an organization, everywhere, we must just talk as humans and must thinking as until we find a solution to lezo inkinga as nas.
Yeah. I want to just say in Mpano, this is not just about a relationship. But as we did say in the beginning, it's even to abuse it physical, it's emotional, and it's verbal. I'm sure.
And also financial.
And sexual, buffet. So it's not only relationships. We have become children. That's abuse. Namachita, when a lady is passing by, all those kind of names, that's abuse. You might not be in a relationship with them. Mara, which make her feel uncomfortable or less about themselves. That's also abuse.
Okay, as we develop on this show, there's a question that I'm thinking maybe a lot of people was at the question there and we don't find answers. And I just want a short answer before Sivala.
Sure.
Do you think into umuntu wesifazane ayigogile? Or does that lead into us raping them? Do we judge women by what they're wearing? Do you think that? Do you think of that?
No, mina ngicabanga ukuthi mfethu bana-right ogcoka into abafuna ukuyigcoka bafethu ababe yibo ba-embrace imizimba yabo bafethu.
Yeah, true. Yeah. For once, I'm gonna agree with this guy over here. But that will stand. And so on a different day, when maybe rape was happening to those people at parties who were sexy things, But this is also happening to children. And so it's happening to everyone. And everyone like that. So it doesn't make sense with city with blame it on the skirts and on the short mini skirts and so on. So I think it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's there. That's just ezine-sick excuse.
Okay, that was a chat box, a conversation with the guys. Siyayivala-ke la, I think amajita kunika perspective. I think nalabantu vela basendela ama-VN siyababonga and ama-comment nama-views. Remember, you still have an opportunity to do that on our comment section and everywhere. Like our page on YouTube, you are Chatbox Live. On Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, it's Chatbox_live. Siyayivala-ke lento madoda, mina igama lami ngu-Floyd wabangwenya, postman wamaqiniso.
Lo usabelo kwami kusebhale kancane ngokuthanda futhi engakhathalela kuthenjwa bafethu.
Kanti ngaye bafethu spell the lyric is loyal, easy.
Easy.
Next time, bafethu. And for once, we are gonna tell you social media weight.
And the upcoming topic, the upcoming topic sizonjela ngayo.
Yes, that's so.
We'll keep you posted.
Nizongithola bafethu apha mina ku-Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Facebook is Raymond Itso Kuzwayo. Instagram and Twitter, I'm loyal_Stizzy. Now TikTok bafethu, I'm still trying, but ngiyeza lapho. Fana yami Instagram.
Mina bafethu ngisiphilo ngesiqalekisi. Ngithola lapha ku-Instagram naku-Twitter naku-Facebook Sabelo Maps. Easy bafethu. Sabelo_Maps.
Okay. Yeah. Mina guys on Instagram or Floyd_Ngwenya. On Facebook it's Floyd Ntaganipo Ngwenya. With Twitter it's Floyd_Ngwenya. So sibambile kanjalo. We thank you very much for tuning in. This was Chatbox.
Danko,
please.